know people think we're going to hire Steve Kerr, but I need to think outside of the triangle. I need someone that's going to work well with Mello.
Caramellos are my favorite candy. Much easier to work with than Rolos. How come we aren't in your office?
Nature is my office. How would you attack an NBA defense?
I would look for cracks in their scheme, and then their whole game plan, up in smoke.
I want to build a winner that stays strong from October all the way to June.
October, huh? I should be free by then.
What do you think is our roster's most glaring need?
I don't know.
Why do you think you're the man for the job?
What's a nick? A knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone? Ow!
This is going to be harder than I thought. I gotta call Jeannie.
The box score starts right now. Ow!
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees. Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Howard Collins for box score. Welcome to the Box Score. I'm Brock here in Los Angeles, and the Danettes are back home in Milford, Connecticut. The boss, very passionate today when he mentioned Pat Tillman and the legacy of athletes who serve in the military. Paulie, how much does Dan's upbringing by a father who was in the military fuel the passion we saw?
I think that's got to be 90% of it. You know, Dan doesn't talk a lot about his family. He has talked about his dad to us, mostly on the air and a little bit off the air as well. And, you know, he doesn't kid around with that at all.
The Tillman topic came up after comments by Chris Collingsworth, who said Tillman should be in the Hall of Fame. So you guys had Chris on to talk about this serious issue.
It was breathtaking in some ways that he decided to do that. And then when you add on top of that the fact that this guy made the ultimate sacrifice and gave his life in doing that and representing not just our country, but in many ways the players of the National Football League, I just think it's a great statement of who we are as a people, as a country, and as players in the NFL. And I just don't know of anybody more deserving.
You know, Collinsworth was a really great get today. It's just unfortunate you couldn't hear anything that he was saying because Todd didn't do his job. But other than that, everything was pretty good.
It was frustrating. You know, we've had these issues with the phone lines, and you know, Paulie had asked me, he goes, you know, if we reached out to Collinsworth, which we hadn't at the time, and we reached out. We've had Chris on a number of times before and never had any kind of sound effects like that. Once again, when I spoke with him off the air, and even the first part of the interview, there was no problem. And I guess he had some kind of call waiting set up with his cell phone, and we started hearing dialing and clicking sounds that someone was trying to reach him during the course of the interview. We put him on hold, and he put his call waiting on hold so that the rest of the way it was okay. But yeah, I can't stand when that happens. We make the effort to get these guests on, and the least we can hope for is that it actually sounds good, or it's not worth having them on if it's going to have weird sound effects.
He clearly did not hear that, though. Like, he wasn't hearing that. Maybe Seton can explain. How does that technically happen, that something different is coming over the phone line than what he's hearing?
I don't know. I don't work for the phone company. My guess would be that he was on some type of internet connection. And that's the way his phone line goes, like with Vonage or one of those like voice over IP sort of things.
My guess would be the same, that he may have had. He probably does a lot of radio interviews, and some guys like him, I know Chris Fowler has a headset that plugs into his computer that they do radio hits with. And with that, you're adding, like Seton said, extra elements that the person on the line cannot hear, but we could hear it, and I know the listener can.
Just when you thought things were back to normal, poor Fritzy got a second dose of the telephone blues.
New York City is as attractive as Los Angeles. I know I personally love both cities. I've lived in both. But the Lakers right now seem...
Uh-oh. That was a walk-off there. Oh, no. I hear Fritzy. I can hear you through the glass going, what now?
Once again, very frustrating, especially coming at the heels of the Chris Collinsworth sound effects and clicking sounds. We didn't know what was going on. We were all looking at each other. We didn't know, you know, even Dan joked about it. I don't know if there was some kind of dramatic pause. I see what you guys are doing. And we lost him for a second, and then I picked him up, and he was there the whole time. So I honestly don't know what happened. Much like Seton, I don't work for the phone company either, and I don't know why we lost him for a second or two, although he was still on the line the whole time.
Truth be told, I did feel bad for Fritzy when that second phone line went down. I was like, oh, man, like when it rains, it pours, man.
I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Are you serious? Yeah. 2?
The phones weren't the only stiff objects having problems today. McLovin, you had some issues, and the boss actually seemed concerned.
And he's not quitting his job right now. He will soon. Be one and done. What's the problem, McLovin? You seem a little frustrated back there. You all right? McLovin, what's the problem?
I had some technical difficulties here. Did you ask me a question?
Yeah, I did, but that's okay.
That was living hell. You're walking on a tight wire being on live radio, and I thought Dan was going around the room asking, what was he asking about? Something about whether we would go to the draft or something. Anyway, he didn't get to me, so I thought he was asking me like a content-related question. Turns out he was just asking why was I fidgeting so much, so I could have taken it cool, but I panicked.
Like I could feel the discomfort. There was like a heat building around my left shoulder, like this cloud of, and usually I'm the one with the anxiety and the nervousness and fidgeting and all that kind of, but he was genuinely uncomfortable with the technical situation and being called on by Dan. He wasn't ready for that, and it was just a very, very awkward moment.
The clouds are gathering. The I-Team wanted to further investigate what was happening during all this, so we found behind-the-scenes audio of McLovin melting down.
Oops. Oh, I'm lost here. I'm off. I had some technical difficulties here.
Whoa. Okay, first of all, I think it's great that McLovin was saying, I'm lost here, I'm lost. That soundbite could have been from any point during the show. But just the very idea that you guys are isolating our individual microphones.
Scary.
And able to sort of process that audio is a hell of a revelation. And one that I wish I had known about, I don't know, 5 years ago?
I mean,
6?
The Insider Mike show could be better than the actual show.
Oh, boy.
There's more just around the corner. We'll see what kind of women get the Danettes' blood pumping, and we'll take a look back at a Wrigley road trip. Stick around.
Charlize Theron, beautiful. She was playing golf in front of me with her mother, and I couldn't wait to help her find a lost ball, help her with her swing. I kept hitting into her so I could go up and say, I'm so sorry. I'm just so long today.
Welcome back to the box score. The boss absolutely love struck on the golf course when it comes to describing his run-in with the beautiful Charlize Theron. McLovin, when it comes to the topic of women on the show, why do you always feel the need to bring up Madeleine Albright?
Because I think I do, in all seriousness, worry that we veer towards being too shallow by judging women just on looks. Like we had a big Olivia Wilde versus Olivia Munn debate today, but we didn't take into personality.
Well, how are we judging their personalities if we've never, ever met or spoke to them?
It's a good question. Well, Madeleine Albright has several speeches at the UN that are on record. We could study them, get a sense of her personality. And there's also, Madeleine Albright is always equals funny. You ever hear an unfunny line with Madeleine Albright?
That's why I go the creepy route, though, sometimes. I'm hoping that kind of covers up some of the objectifying of the women that we may, accidentally stumble upon and kind of veer it towards the creepiness aspect, so we're not...
Yeah, that helps.
Google Madeleine Albright sex tape. I think you'll be surprised. Just more than a great personality. Well, let's see what each of your tastes are. We've rounded up some beauties, and you get to choose which one does it for you, per se. Ready? Let's begin. McLovin, you first. Adriana Lima or Charlize Theron?
Oh, God. Oh, my Lord.
I'm going to say something that's going to be in huge trouble here. I think Charlize Theron is totally overrated. I am Lima 1,000%.
I'd go Lima, too, but I don't think Charlize is by any stretch of the imagination.
You ever see Monster? Did you ever see Monster?
You know, on purpose.
I know,
that was part of the movie and the role she was playing. But yeah, Charlize is not overrated. But between those two, I'm all for Well, for Lehman.
Fritzy, you weren't asked.
Yeah, Fritzy, you jumped
Wasn't
in
your
here.
question.
That was your.
Dude, you're boxing me out here?
But I'm always
Are
talking
you
about how much I
segment
like
blocking
Lehman.
me right now?
I am segment
Why should you do this
blocking
when there's a sports topic?
Polly, you're
Bring up
next.
Lima.
Kate Upton or Olivia Wilde?
Oh, come on. Kate Upton times 10. Yeah, I like curves.
Oh boy.
All right. Fritzy, I can see your heart pounding. Brooklyn Decker or Kate Beckinsale?
Oh.
Good topic.
I love Brooklyn, and it's not because her father beat me in arm wrestling, but there's something about Beckinsale and that, I don't know if it's an overbite or there's something with her mouth that's really attractive and the high cheekbones. I'm going to give it to Beckinsale and hope not to.
I think she's way overrated, too. I'm going to put that on there. I am not a Kate Beckinsale.
You couldn't be more far off of both of these
You're
statements.
factually wrong.
Serendipity.
It's not even an opinion anymore.
Kate Beckinsale, she's like 4'11".
I almost feel like you need to get up and
I
take
don't
the rest of
understand
the
what he's
segment
talking
off.
about.
I just-
Charlize overrated and Kate Beckinsale overrated. This is what you're saying. You're out of your mind.
I will just say that in an Allure magazine interview, Kate Beckinsale said her best feature was something she couldn't mention in public. I think that's a walk-off. Finally, Seton, Chrissy Teigen or Scarlett Johansson?
Oh, man.
Oh boy, man, is that interesting.
Take away the fact that you know one of them.
Well, I know that's actually what clouds this a little bit
You guys are
because
pals.
it's probably more awkward because even knowing her, I would take Chrissy Teigen.
Yeah, but now Chrissy's going to see you and be like, oh, so you want me now. So what's going on?
No, Chrissy's just pretty spectacular, so I'm gonna go Chrissy Teigen.
Apparently you haven't seen Under the Skin with Scarlett Johansson. Oscar worthy. No matter which of these girls is number one on your list, I think we all agree they make everyone want to do this.
And it's autographed.
Coming up, Wrigley Field is 100 years old. But do the Danettes even care? Take me out to commercial. Take me out to the break.
Well, let's root for the. If they don't win, it's a shame for it. Oh, ball, yeah.
Welcome back to the box score. Wrigley Field celebrating its 100th anniversary, and that trip to Chicago still near and dear to your hearts. Fritzy, you still seem to be emotionally scarred from not having your microphone on during the 7th inning stretch. Why is that?
I was just very, very bummed. We were all led to believe that we were all going to be singing together and not just kind of posing like we were singing. And, you know, I closed my eyes. I'm getting into it. I was studying like I was studying for a midterm or a final exam, making sure I had the words down properly for taking me out to the ball game. As we're singing, I'm not hearing anything in my ear, and I just kind of chalked it up to some type of a technical or headphone problem, and that we were all actually singing it together. And then we kind of find out that someone was getting cute, and our mics may have been on, but our audio wasn't potted up on the board, and it was very, very disappointing.
Let's take a look back at that magical day. Dan threw out the first pitch, and here's the moment when all of you thought you were singing to the crowd. Paulie, is there another stadium you'd like to visit with Dan?
Not over this one. I mean, I would like to hit some other stadiums, of course, but for me, unlike Fritzy, I thought it was one of the great days of my life. I mean, I'm a Cub fan, I'm a Chicagoan. I don't care if they didn't even have mics in our hands. To be up there with the guys calling the game, to be on the field for the first pitch, to have our names announced. I didn't even notice that our names were announced on the PA when Dan did the first pitch. I was so out of my mind excited. That was one of the top 5 days of my life.
Great, great moment. Well, let's see how well you remember your visit to the friendly confines. Let's send it over to the bar where our box score correspondent Harry Carey is standing by with some Wrigley Field trivia. Oh, thanks, Bobby. Put on your thinking caps, fellas. Front row versus the back row, and teams can steal. Let's go. Back row, you start us off. Name any 2 streets that surround Wrigley Field.
Oh, that's easy.
Waveland?
Yeah.
You want to take the other one?
No.
You can't take the other one?
That's the one I know.
Waveland and... How do we not know this? Wrigley Boulevard.
Wrigley Boulevard. That's our guess.
Wrong. Front row can steal.
I can't
Waveland and Sheffield.
Sheffield.
Oh, wow, the steal.
feel like I've blacked out.
Clark
on
and
one of those
Anderson
two
were the
statements.
other two. Front row during the famous Bartman play versus the Marlins. Name either the pitcher or the hitter that was involved in the incident.
Oh. I'm going to defer to you since this is a local issue.
Mark Pryor, pitcher.
Ding, 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 ding. Luis Castillo was the hitter. Back row, which Hall of Fame running back scored 6 touchdowns in a game played at Wrigley Field?
Sayers. Gale Sayers.
I think so. Go for it.
Gale Sayers.
Oh, you're right.
Nice.
Front row, Wrigley is the site of the highest scoring game in the history of baseball. Who did the Cubs beat 26 to 23 in 1922?
Oh.
1922. Oh, I thought it was the Phillies. I'm gonna stay with the Phillies.
Absolutely right, it was the Phillies. Back row, if a batted ball gets stuck in the Wrigley Field ivy, what is the play rule?
Double.
Did he say back row? I can't
He did
understand
say
what
back
Harry
row.
is.
Back row!
If the ball gets stuck in the
Ground
ivy.
rule double.
We're going to say ground rule double if
Wait,
it gets stuck in the ivy.
Is that back row?
You are
Did you say
correct.
back row again?
And finally, front row, what happened during the first time the Cubs tried to play a night game at Wrigley Field?
Rained out.
I'm gonna go with
Absolutely,
rained out.
God cried. What a tragedy. Congrats to someone, the front row. You guys are all right. I gotta go.
You really carried you there, Paulie.
Oh. Welcome back to the Box Score. Thanks for joining us here. Last call at the Box Score Bar. Many thanks to Harry Carey for tending bar last segment, a true legend. Guys, we came across this headline. New York Giants punter Steve Weatherford accepted a prom invitation from one of his fans on Twitter. We wanted to ask you guys, would you ever accept an invitation from a huge fan of yours similar to that? Seton?
Hell yeah, of course I would. I mean, it just depends on what kind of budget they have. I mean, what am I getting out of this? I'll
First class,
take a couple
little
$100 to go hang at a prom or a bar or somebody's fantasy football draft, whatever you want. I got a price for everything.
I can't imagine anyone in our country, every single high school person was asked they would want any of us to do this, but yes, I would do it. If I were in high school, I would have, going back when I was in high school, I would have probably asked Belinda Carlisle, and that would have been crazy cool.
Yeah, since I'm the eye candy of the show and a lot of women write me notes and things, it's kind of difficult for me because I don't want to get, if I accept one prom date, then it's going to open like the floodwaters. So it's going to be just a lot of action there, and I'd take up my whole spring.
Well, we all
I
knew
would definitely
Fritzy
do
would
that.
jump at the chance to go to prom again and relive the dream. This is the image of what the poor girl would see when Fritzy came to pick her up. Fritzy, would you behave?
I'd like to think I would behave. It's especially if we're talking about a high school-aged person that was looking to. I would
it's a
behave.
college
Exactly
prom?
what we're talking about.
And I would behave. I would be extremely flattered that someone would think that much of me that they would want me to escort them to a prom. And and then once they're of age, and if things didn't work out with the wife and we hit it off, then we can communicate at that point.
My goodness, my goodness. Before we go, Matt Holliday called in today on the heels of a 3-hit performance and says he'll continue to call in as long as he stays hot. Seton, are you going to be glued to the TV now watching Cardinals games to see how Matt's doing?
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, he's finally performing for my fantasy baseball team, which I'm not a fantasy baseball guy, but this year I decided to play. And I'm like, oh, sick, I got Matt Holliday, and he's stunk pretty much for the whole season. So it's nice that he's finally turning it on, and I hope that he keeps calling in because that would be one of the best running bits we have in a long time.
Well, speaking of performing, maybe you can tell us what is happening here?
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Well, that certainly is an interesting...
This is a tough answer because if you say you're yawning...
Okay, truth be told, all right, that happened during the play of the day, and I was playing Albert Pujols' home run, and I was trying to show my displeasure or distaste for doing that and saying it was boring. So I was doing a fake yawn for Dan, and then I noticed I was doing this and thought, oh dear. If they happen to catch that, I'm dead. I mean, that's going to turn into my glasses breaking moment, I think.
Looked like a shake weight commercial.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. That was unfortunate.
A man who uses shake weights all the time, Fritzy, who's on tomorrow?
C.J. Wilson, Angels pitcher, will stop by. NFL Network host Rich Eisen, since we'll be exactly 2 weeks before the draft. And Jabari Parker, who recently announced he's foregoing his sophomore year at Duke to go pro, stops by as well.
Maybe Matt Holliday. Thanks for watching the Box Score. Set your DVR or tune in weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern only on Audience, Channel 239 on DirecTV. Cheers.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees. Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Hey, thanks for watching the Box Score. Holy cow!